What's up, people? I'm back again for part 3. Right, so I've already just done a part 3, but I didn't like it. I had to do it again. Too much mumbling, and there's a lot. So I think it's important. I mean, this is a really important subject, so it's important that I get out what needs to be said. Ending from the last one, all I say is that I think it's got to a point over here where we no longer want to invest energy. We don't want to invest energy anymore, and that's why. That's why when we're along the street and someone bumps into us, we don't want to kind of take that chance. We no longer, we kind of guard our energy now. We don't want to kind of invest it into any more new relationships, which is sad actually, because we reach 30s and 40s, and it's harder to make friends. It's harder to increase your social circle. I do remember going back to a club in Seven Sisters in London ages ago, and this is getting back to about women, because the end of the last one I was talking about women. And it was a pajama night, and what that basically means is that you turn up to the club in your pajamas. So obviously you'll have your wallet as a guy, you have a purse as a woman, but you're dressed in pajamas. And trust me, some of the girls, the nightingale gowns that they were wearing, really nice. It was nice pajama. They don't do them these days, pajama nights or clubs, whatever. But yeah, it was really nice. But anyway, towards the end of the night, some of the women there, the DJ said to the men, right, we want you now we want all of your girl them to go up to them and them, grab them and ask them for a dance. Do you know how many women went up to men that night and asked them for a dance? 0. Because here in the Western world, a lot of women do feel entitled. They are made to feel like queens. Okay, and regardless of how much abuse they throw back at men, I think women said it. What was it, men are like buses, they come every 5 minutes or something like that. There's some saying, guys know what I'm talking about. Beyonce said, I can have another you in a minute. They can abuse men. And sometimes when men even stand up for themselves, there's some white knight or simp that's willing to take that guy out because he's put that woman in the place. So, but anyway, in this place, no woman went up to men and said, can I ask you for a dance? That's the Western world for you. Am I saying that women are to blame for the whole loneliness thing? No. What I am here to tell you though is that I've found that maybe a lot of women prefer to be lonely more than men do, and I would attribute it down to the fact that a lot of women here in the Western world have expectations of men. They have unreal expectations of guys. And maybe due to some sort of personality disorder, they're clutching at straws. They're reaching for something that doesn't exist. And this ties me into my counsellor. My counsellor sat down there and she said to the whole group of clients that yeah, it's okay to be alone. Sometimes no, I can cope by myself, and I come home and it's just me by myself, and I listen to a bit of music, and she was preaching this to these women that were less attractive than her, and I had a problem with that. Well, I had a problem with the whole preaching that anyway. This is the whole purpose of this video. But she was saying that it's okay to be alone and this or that. If I see a beautiful woman and she tells me she's been alone for the last 10 years, alarm bells are going off. And I don't want to sound harsh and cold here, because there are some women on YouTube that have talked about, oh, the reason why I've been single for the last 15 years is because I want to find a man to marry and all of that kind of stuff. Alarm bells are going off in my ears. They're going off, because even if that was the case, you would find a man to marry in the church. You would go to church, and there'd be a single guy in the church that you could find. So it's not down to the fact you want to find someone to marry. It's down to the fact that you probably got some sort of personality where you're, again, unreal expectations. You're expecting blood out of a stone. And it's not that you can't get a guy. It's the fact that, if he was a decent guy, you're constantly asking for this or asking for that, or complaining about this, complaining about that, to the point where you chase him off, and he says, no, I don't want nothing to do with this. Or he's there in your company, and you're just contradicting yourself. You want it, and now that it's there, you don't like it, and that kind of stuff. And you ask them to do this, and you're one of those women really where guys have to get out. Guys have to all go online and be researching in how to do a woman dirty so that she stays you're one of those women that um, I won't say looking for an alpha male, but you're one of those women that don't respect hard-working, decent guys. You're one of those women that likes to play games. You're one of those women where a guy could be working his ass off for you. He's coming home with roses. He's telling you please and thank you. He's opening the door for you, and that kind of stuff makes you sick to your stomach. He's predictable. He's weak. And he's boring. So what I'm trying to say about that particular counselor that was attractive, it was okay for her to be alone, most likely due to something that happened in her past. Because that's the impression I got from her anyway. You got to understand that most counselors have gone through some sort of traumatic, ordeal before they, that caused them to decide to become a counselor. And be honest with you, those are the best counselors, because you don't want to be sitting down with someone that can't relate to your issues or your problems. But if you look at it on the flip side, like how it is if you look at it from the perspective of the women that she's talking to, it's kind of wrong in a sense, because the women she's talking to aren't in the same boat as her. And I've said this in my previous videos. The women she's talking to in the group at the time weren't that attractive. So when she's saying those things to those women aren't living in the same world. Those women struggle to get a guy, and when the guy does come through the door, he's only looking to sleep with them. He doesn't want to be seen out in public with them. He doesn't want to label them as his girlfriend. She's not attractive enough, or he can do, he's a 7 and she's a 4 or 3 or that kind of thing. So with those kind of women, is it okay for them to be alone? Again, it's not okay for them to be alone, but guys just don't want to kind of settle down with them. They don't want to settle down with them. And what I've come to realize about those sort of women as well is that they've had a higher number of guys. Now, rather than crush their self-esteem, it's actually raised it. Because they've had, say, 30, 40 guys come into their lives over the span of 3-4 years, rather than say, damn man, none of these guys want to stay with me, and I'm just a piece of meat to these guys, that's all I am. Rather than it be that way, instead these guys are going, you know what, yeah, these guys want this. They want this. They like this. I've seen some programs on British TV where these women, let's face it, and I don't want to be harsh because I'm not the most handsomest looking guy in the world, but these women aren't attractive. Got stomachs hanging out. They're wearing the wrong clothes that are too tight and all of that kind of stuff. And they're talking about guys love this, man. If a guy don't knock on my door, and if he ain't got at least, he's got to come with paper. If he ain't got money, then I don't even chat to him and all of that. Rather these women see it as guys using them and refusing to even acknowledge, be seen in plain sight with them, they actually, seeing it as a positive thing. I think, yeah, and again, it's a case of lying to yourself. It's just like the, it's okay to be alone thing. They're lying to themselves. What they really should say to themselves is this, though, is that what I need to do really to find a man to settle down with, if I choose to settle down with a man, is that I do need to lower the number. So if guys are using me at 8s and 7s and 6, these guys are walking through my door and using me, and I'm only a 3 or 4, I may need to, as harsh as this sounds, find a guy that's a 3 or 4. Okay, and then he doesn't mind walking out on the street with me. He's not going to mind it. But where these women have had guys that are 6s and 7s, just use them, pump and dump them, they don't want to go back into that world. Now they're sitting down and they're saying, yeah, it's okay to be lonely because, I'm too much for guys. And well, I wouldn't say you're too much for guys. That's not true. That's a lie you're telling yourself. That's a lie. They can't handle this. No. That's a lie you're telling yourself. Okay. What else was I going to say? Okay. Another thing that another thing I was going to say is that what I found is that, like I think I was saying in my previous video, is that a lot of us, believe it or not, have been hurt. We've been hurt. Think of an example of a beautiful woman. Although I don't want to always be using women, because this video isn't just about women, and it's not just about relationships. It's about being lonely in general. You know, is it okay to say it's okay to be lonely? I say no, but imagine a woman that's 18 years old, and she may be giving guys the time of day. When guys are talking, she might say hello, okay, hello, how are you doing? She's talking back to them. As the years go by, her tolerance, and maybe through her being hurt, now when guys are saying hello, how you doing, now she turns around, and if they don't look, say 9, 8 out of 10, or like they got money, which realistically is rude. It's rude. Her patience have gone down now. So in a sense, she's kind of sensitive to bullshit. But in another sense, you can say that she's also extremely vain. She's pro-vanity, / sensitive to bullshit as well. She really does think she's something special, where it's only guys that should choose to pay attention to. And secondly, they have to be of a certain quality. So through her being hurt in life, through her being used in life, there's only, say, maybe 1, 2 out of 20 men that she's willing to give the time of day to. And because, let's face it, if you're an 8 out of 10 looking woman, and you think that a 9 out of 10 looking guy is going to settle down with just you, it's unreal expectations. You're looking for something that logically doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. And that's when you find beautiful looking women talking about, well, if that's the case, I'd rather be by myself then. Right, what you're saying is unrealistic, so you will be by yourself. Okay? But I think all of us in general, some of us as we get older, the more hurt we get, we've been through relationships where someone's probably shitted on us, best friends have probably maybe stabbed you in the back and all that kind of stuff. We do become sensitive, but to a certain degree I can regard a personality like that as almost broken. You're almost broken, really. Life is beating you down so much that you no longer want to take that chance to let somebody else in, because that somebody else may hurt you. That person may hurt you. You're so guarded now, you put up your walls are so high that you're sitting down in your house and you're talking about, yeah, it's okay to be alone and this and that, but is it okay to be alone, or is it the fact that you're afraid that someone's going to hurt you again? Okay, it's about being real, guys. It's about being real. I would never come on the internet and preach to people that it's okay to be alone. It's not okay to be alone, but unfortunately, due to, and again, right now I do blame it on the Western world, like I said, due to the fact that I'm in the Western world right now and I'm unable to kind of fly around the world when I want to, I have to, sometimes I'm forced to be alone. I'm forced to be alone. I'm in a society where people are working really hard. Women expect me to have a certain amount of money. They expect me to be in a certain position by a certain age, where I really have to go out my way to stop a woman on the street, and I'm most likely to face a lot more rejections than I am, which is fine, because I said to people, I said in one of my videos, incels versus MGTOW, that yeah, it's a numbers game. You have to go for a hell of a lot of rejections to find the one, things like that. But what happened to me personally in my life is that I went for a hell of a lot of rejections, found the one after those rejections, and then the one literally tore me to pieces. And that, so like I said to people already, it's kind of when you can be a little bit broken, that can be the cause of it too. Remember, as long as you're real about why you're alone, then that's fine. That's the main important thing. But please don't go around telling people to be alone. In regards to women, like I said already, beautiful looking women preaching that because you've got some sort of personality disorder, that's why. You've been alone for 10 years now and you're talking about it's okay to be alone. No, there's something, your attitude or your expectations of guys is too high. Ugly looking woman, she needs to find someone on her level. and stop going with these F-boys that look good, that don't want to stay with you. As for guys, if you're in a really decent job, rather than be sitting down and preaching that it's okay to be alone and this and that, explore the world. Okay, if you're trapped in this country as a guy and there's no way of you, flying around the world or this or that, social media, I would say stay away from it. It's a complete waste of time. In my eyes anyway, it's a complete waste of time. I would just say when you're out there in the street, start talking to people. Like I said, this ain't all about relationships, general friendships as well. It's okay to find a general friend to have in your life, but what I would say to people is, if you're meeting new people in today's times, just be careful about letting them into your house. Be careful about letting them into your house. You can have a friend from a distance. You don't have to have them in your home anymore. Be careful on that one. And that's the best way of safeguarding yourself. Rather than say, right, I'm going to be a person that no longer needs friends and I'll survive by myself and all of that kind of mentality, which is dangerous as far as I'm concerned, very dangerous. Even now, as we sit down now, the corona has forced a hell of a lot of people to be alone. And let's face it, it's messed them up. It's not everyone that's been able to deal with it. They haven't been able to deal with it because it's not a natural thing. Like I keep saying to you people, it is not a natural thing. Okay, it's not harmonious, it's not spiritual, it's not uplifting. Being trapped in your house like some hamster in a cage, it's not nice. It's not nice. Okay, it's not nice at all. Some of us can change that through things like counselling, but only if you want to. Only if you want to. But my advice is, rather than preach that it's okay to be alone, just say that it's not okay to be alone, but it is what it is, and I'm dealing with it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be selling myself out and having people use me and abuse me and treat me like a piece of trash, just because I'm afraid of being alone. I'd rather go at it by myself. I respect that a lot more, because you're preaching. Some of the people you're preaching to are maybe people, persons, and all those kind of things. They flourish among other people, and you're kind of persuading them to leave a lifestyle which is natural for them and come over to your side. And you understand that it's different strokes for different folks. So be clear about the whole "it's okay to be alone" thing. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else. Naivety of older friends. Let's see. Naivety older foreigners. Okay, I've written down here. Right, so another thing I was going to say really is that obviously there's some people that are in their 70s and 80s that go abroad and they don't mind having fake relationships with younger girls. They say, yeah, I'm going to take her back to my country and marry her and this and that. And some of them are, just like when people go on X Factor and they're told that they can really sing and they can't, and they go on there and, and it's embarrassing how their friends allow them to go on there knowing that they're going to kind of, it's not real, and that they're going to kind of be a laughing stock or whatever. There's some people out there where, they're fantasists and they're easily misled by believing that someone 3 times younger than them in a foreign country truly does love them and marry them, and they send their money over to those people and things like that. But if you can afford to, it's better than being alone. Just make sure that obviously these people aren't they're not going to leave you penniless. If you want to pay for friendships and all of that, that's fine. Like there's certain guys out there that they're 80 years old, the girl's 20 years old. Of course the girl's not interested in you. Of course she wants you for your money, but you're happy with that partnership. I'm down with that. I have nothing to say about those people. But be real and make sure that you're not going to be left hung out to dry if this young person suddenly decides that maybe they're coming over to this country to marry you or for their stay, or maybe they're in another country and they're cheating on you with other people. Just be real about it, how it's going to end up. Okay, because it's not real to begin with. And that's it. Right, you fake. I think that's what I was going to say, is that the reason why a lot of us find it very hard to find a partner in this country is because of a lot of fake things from what we see on TV. TV dictates a lot of things to us. We see fake celebrity relationships on TV, and we believe that that's real. Okay, I need to get with someone that's just as attractive as me, because that's how it is on TV. And but TV's fake. A lot of how long do those celebrity relationships on TV last? They don't last for long. I need to be a man of this kind of money, because that's how Kim Kardashian done it and all of that. They're fake relationships. Don't go by what you see on TV. It's not always perfect. You do have to work hard at any relationship. I'm sorry, it does, and you may get hurt. Any relationship, friendships involve you getting hurt, but you can minimize that by putting up boundaries. If I get into any kind of new relationship now, there's boundaries. No, people can't walk into my life without them. Plain and simple. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned something about being alone anyway. And I'll see you around for another one. Peace out.